Don't wait till the night before Christmas to be good.
And in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 95 of the Prehistoric Podcast, part 6 in our long-running 12 podcasts of Christmas. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Francois Nation.
I'm Andrew Soares Claus.
I'm Green Eggs and Ham.
And today we have two very special guests with us. Members of the band Johnny Don't, a band we've had the privilege of working with a couple times. Awesome guys. What are your names? What do you do in the band?
Hey, I'm Mike. I sing and play guitar.
Dave, lead guitar.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
How are you guys doing?
Smashing.
Good.
Smashing?
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
A little hungover, but
Yeah.
You guys went out last night?
yeah.
As is Sunday. It is Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sunday. Lord's Day, hungover day, right?
Kind of already I'm almost on a hangover again from drinking at the watching the Rider game.
Oh yeah.
So ready to.
That's the problem with the noon game. Then the game's over at 3 and I'm half tight. And then I don't know what to do with the rest of my day.
Yeah, you don't want to keep. It's like either you have to keep drinking, but then you're done by like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes that's good on a Sunday.
it's
It
true.
is. Yeah,
That is
you go
true.
to bed and you
Yeah.
don't have the crazy day on Monday.
Or get drunk twice in a day.
There you
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
That's the plan for
3
today,
times
anyways.
if you can.
See, I was sewered yesterday because we were filming a podcast last night, and my girlfriend came on to be on the podcast, and then Brad thought it'd be a great idea that we do a relationship lightning game where he asked me questions very quickly and rapidly, and I had to answer them very quickly. First question he asks, when's your girlfriend's birthday? And guess who forgot when his girlfriend's birthday was?
So I made him do like nice bottoms of pint glasses around every time he got the milk.
Yeah.
He was pretty tight.
So I was shit canned by the end of the episode.
Yeah. I could see that.
And probably in trouble.
Hey, it was an interesting night for sure. Yeah,
A little bit of trouble.
a little bit of trouble.
Should we do our little song and get the drinks poured?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
On the sixth podcast of Christmas, Prehistoric Productions drank for me 6 Grey
geese
Goose
screwing.
Oh, wow, we fucked that one up. Geese is screwing, Grey Goose screwdrivers.
6 geese is
Sounds
screwing
tasty.
Ooh.
in the biblical sense.
All right.
Now I've brought the impromptu ice pick in case the bowl of ice decides to freeze together in one gelatinous mass.
Yeah.
So
This
so
can
don't
happen.
cut yourself.
Okay.
That actually just
Fire.
looking at it makes me very uncomfortable. It's like seeing blood on ice. I just
No,
don't like.
up right around the cork there. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Ooh, the vodka. Guy walks into a bar. Says to the bartender, "Give me anything but vodka." So he gives him a beer. 20 minutes later, comes back. "Give me anything but vodka." So he gives him another beer. 20 minutes later, comes back again. He's like, "Give me anything but vodka." He's like, "Well, why didn't you want vodka?" He's like, "Oh, the last time I had vodka, I blew chunks." He's like, "Well, that happens every once in a while, you know. You throw up every once in a while. Just carry on, keep drinking." He's like, no, you don't understand. Chunks is my dog." Always think of that joke every time.
Yeah.
Blue chucks. That's a good one. I'll pass
good,
that
I'll
around
have
so
to
I'm
remember.
not giving everyone my finger juice on their
All right.
ice.
And you want to pass me a glass there, Chief?
Got you
Sorry.
back.
Oh, we brought extra glass.
Yes, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Gotta have ice. I'm a big ice connoisseur.
Yes.
Ice is important.
Keep nice and chill.
Brad,
See, I'm not
five
used to
is ice.
opening bottles of Grey Goose either. Usually the stripper does it for me. So that's...
Yeah, we're at the strip club in Vancouver, and this guy all night is drinking double Grey Goose and Red Bull. It's the most expensive fucking drink you can get.
I was so fucking drunk, and the guy's like, "You're stupid. These are like $30 fucking." I was just like, "Oh, whatever. Just keep drinking."
I guess you might as well live it up.
Exactly. While you're there. So, gentlemen, have you guys got any shows coming up? How has everything been? Have you guys been performing recently?
We've been recording. We've been shooting music videos. And we got shows. When's our next show? New Year's.
Are we allowed to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, we're allowed to promote that now, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Are we?
it's getting close to Christmas.
We're gonna piss somebody off.
No, I guess not.
These also don't come
It
out
just
until
it wasn't announced.
These
but
won't come
now
out
it is,
until
I guess.
Yeah, it's announced.
Now it's announced.
This won't be released until like December. We start releasing them on the 1st of December. So if you talk about it now, it's not going to be out till
Okay.
like
But that's
December or whatever.
Cool.
Just so you know.
This will be the announcement.
Yeah, perfect.
So I heard you guys talking a little bit earlier, and I'm
We're not
interested
telling you
in
where. No, we're playing New Year's at Bud's.
New Year's at Bud's. Oh, sweet.
what is your favorite venue to play in the city?
Probably tough to pick, but
In the years, like, the ones that are existing?
Oh, or ones that
Because I used to love playing Lydia's. Fuck,
that's what
that was-
everyone.
that's what everyone said. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's an
Lydia's
awesome
was
place to
fucking
play.
great. Actually, that's where we started. Our first show was at Lydia's. Grandma, we weren't even really a band. Grandma was, or I had just had a bunch of tunes, and me and Grandma were jamming, just the two of us, because we were living together. He's like, "Oh fuck, let's book a show at Lydia's." We only got like 10 songs, but yeah, sure, we'll fucking do it. So, and we did that, and Lydia's loved us. Then we became a band. Grandma's like, "Okay, let's book a tour."
And he is talking about his actual grandmother, who is a man.
Yeah, he's bearded.
Hell of a drummer.
Hell of a drummer.
My grandmother, Teresa.
Teresa.
She plays the drums for us.
So the original. So you guys started out. It was you and Grandma,
We were a two-man band.
2-man band, and then
We did that for about 3 years.
was Dave the next member that was added then?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we were all from a band called Vagabond before,
Okay.
and we lived in
Well,
a
the
tour
three of
bus.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Grandma
the
and
three-
us.
and another fella.
Yeah.
We lived in a tour bus and then on the road for like years, just relentlessly touring. Didn't have homes. Put everything we owned in storage and
That's so cool.
yeah. And then we'd just travel sides across country, everywhere. We'd stop in Saskatoon for like 2 weeks at a time. We had these 3 really cute girls. They let us crash in their basement every time we came through town.
Nice.
That's a nice thing to have.
Yeah. And then that band broke up and I moved to Montreal and started writing love songs to blow up dolls and all kinds of shit. Moved back here and started,
I
jamming
still
with
have
Grandma.
a postcard that he sent me from Montreal with some lyrics to the song on the first track on the first Johnny Don't album. Actually,
Yeah.
it was like, I know the stripper's real name. And I was like, what the
When
fuck
she
is
came.
this? And because it wasn't maybe a couple days later he called me to explain this, but I was like, for a couple days there, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, what the fuck is this message supposed to be?
I was walking.
You phone the
I was walking
authorities.
through the streets of Montreal, and I'm like, "Fuck!" I got
I'm like,
all
is
these
this
lyrics
somebody we
bouncing
know?
around in my head. So I just went into the store and fucking wrote it all down, bought a stamp, and sent it off.
You phone the authorities in Montreal. You're like, "Hey, I have this friend who's living there, and I think he's harming people. I'm not sure."
Or maybe he's in trouble.
He's
I'm
like,
not
"I don't
sure.
think one of the two. I'm not sure."
Yeah,
So
either he's hurting people or somebody's hurting him. I really can't tell.
So were these like always lyrics to songs? One thing I noticed with because there's lots of humor in a lot of the Johnny Don't songs. So were they always intended to be songs? Were they kind of like almost like limerick type deals,
I
poems?
don't
or-
know.
They just
They were
sort of
just-
happened.
They just happen,
I think.
and they're stories that are, a lot of it's fucking true in some aspect, like.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, and I don't know, when you're living on the road touring around, you see it all, and all kinds of crap happens, and
Yeah.
And humor is the best, easiest way to get through.
Yeah.
That's sort of what we learned is like if you blew a tire on the bus. Well, he always had a little bottle of Revelstoke whiskey in his backpack. So we'd sit on the roof of the bus and have a few drinks and wait for the tow truck or try to figure out what to do and just laugh it off because what the hell else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Roll with the punches is. And that's how the only way you can be a successful touring band is be able to just all be brothers and roll with the
Going through it together and yeah.
I guess I
shit
gotta
happens.
I gotta give credit where credit is due. One of the big inspirations for the humor, I think, with Johnny Don't comes from our bass player from the band Vagabond, Jason Arcand, who is the funniest man I've ever met.
Yeah.
He should have
He's like
been on
Saskatoon
television
Jim Carrey.
for like he's just hilarious, and he would do the most insane things and say the most inappropriate things at the most inappropriate times and just off the wall stuff, and we just kind of like This is
For an
amazing.
example, let's give an example here.
Which one?
Let's say the paw.
Okay.
We have paid our dues. We've played every shit fucking hole in this country. I've seen every highway. I got 1 million kilometers under my belt. We get sent to the paw, which is very north Manitoba, end of the road pretty much. And we're in the wrong bar. This was like this.
They're looking for a country band, number one.
That
We're-
plays
that
all
we were
these
definitely not
covers and-
at that time.
Yeah, and we were a hard rock band, and and then there's like this big group, big burly native guys, a couple of chicks there, and they're all, the native way, testing you with their humor and kind of poking fun at you.
And we were the
we
only
were-
white guys in the
Yeah.
bar too, so
Yeah.
we were a little bit.
So we're like nervous as hell, and we're
Sticking
like,
out
holy
like
shit,
sore
is this
thumbs.
gonna go south? Everything else like that. And Gordy, Jason Arcad, we called him Gordy. He grabs one of the girls is like, oh, come here and come sit on my lap. So
Oh no, you're talking about that one. That was Thompson.
that was Thompson.
That was
not
even
the paw.
scarier than
That
the
was
paw.
even
The
scarier.
paw
than the
wasn't
paw.
too bad.
That's right. It was Thompson. End of
Thompson's
the road.
way up there.
But yeah, so he whips down. He had a long shirt on. He whips his pants down, Gitch and all, sits down, and starts, rubbing on her. And she's like, "Oh yeah." And he's like, "Oh
loving
yeah,
it.
you like that?" And he lifts up, and she sees him, reaches around, grabs his wiener, starts whacking him off. He reaches, turns around, lifts her shirt. She's got a couple pierogi tits, and she's looking around. And at this point, we're like, I'm thinking, we're gonna die. We're about to die.
Well, I burst out laughing like crazy first, and then it was like, oh shit.
I shouldn't have done that.
This is
Yeah.
good, yeah.
And then look around at the table, and the whole fucking bunch of them just burst out laughing, bought us drinks.
So we were okay.
Yeah.
Just the perfect thing, kind of to
Yeah.
diffuse that
broke the
situation.
ice.
craziest
Yeah.
white boys we've ever seen in our lives. What the hell?
That's incredible.
But also in the paw, we were in the wrong bar. They said, so after the second song, you guys are in the wrong fucking bar.
Yeah.
So we kind of made our way through the show that night barely and managed to win over like the doorman and the bartender and a couple people. Or like they caught our sense of humor and whatever. Right. And then the next night the next day during the day before we played, our buddy that lived in town there, his daughter gave Jason a mohawk. And because he was like, hell, fuck. You're cutting people's hair
when
off.
in
Give me a
Rome.
mohawk. But it wasn't like the classic punk sticking up mohawk. It was like long and floppy and
Like a
weird
rooster.
looking.
Yeah.
Like a rooster. And for me, it was the first time I ever shaved my head too. I'm like, oh, give me those clips. Let's do that. So we come back and I'm freaking shaved right to the skin, and he's got this rooster fucking mohawk thing.
And the whole bar
And
is
they just
laughing.
fucking started pointing and laughing at us, and just Jason really played into it, and they just ended up loving it. So
That
we
is
were
rolling-
like,
that is
okay,
rolling with the punches, isn't it?
humor can save us, and it just over time we were all about the good times and
Right.
constant jokes, and even like that band, the music we were playing was heavy and intense, but in between the songs or even our
banter.
on stage moves and
Yeah.
like
Played
we
into
would
that
ham
humor,
it
yeah.
up big time, like just do stupid things to make ourselves laugh. And
Well, we were playing every single night. So you were, a lot of times you're just fucking with each other on
yeah,
stage.
you're just making
trying to make-
games
yeah,
of things.
Trying to make each other laugh. Or,
I imagine, especially if it's a really small crowd and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you're just gonna try to make your work on the performance,
Well,
fuck with
and-
each other, have fun
Yeah.
with it.
yeah.
We used to play in Whitehorse for 4 or 5 weeks at a time, 4 or 5 nights in a row in the same bar. And I remember times where I'm like, my guitar sounds really thin. What's going on? And I look over, and Jason wasn't even playing his bass. He'd have his pants down to his ankles, and he'd just be slapping the strings. And he had this like elastic strap that would bounce around, and he would just be fucking doing that. I'm like, he's not even playing notes anymore. Okay, what the okay, fuck, right on. Who gives a fuck?
One time I
cares.
looked back and he was laying across my amp. He had knocked my Marshall right over and he's sprawled across it.
And we would do like all kinds of stupid shit. Like, I'd walk across the stage over to him with a really like pissed off look at my face, and I'd be shaking my finger at him and pointing at his fretboard that he played the wrong note or something. Of course he didn't, but and he'd be like, and then be like, oh, and then we'd be like pointing to each other's guitars to be like, which way does it go? Like pretending like we didn't know what we were doing, or that we were fighting, and just doing stupid shit to each other.
Fucking with the audience.
Yeah. And ourselves, just to keep it interesting. But that's definitely where the influence, I think, of humor really came. Started with us, and we just kind of carried it over to the next band, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you bring up the humor thing, because with us, one thing I found, or like just with filmmaking, what I found is that it is way, way easier at an independent level to connect with an audience through humor rather than like drama or action or like any other genre, really.
Right?
It's like it's something that's sort of universal to an extent. Everybody likes laughing.
Yeah.
Not everybody likes crying. Not everybody likes whatever. But so it's like in that sense, like you guys said, you guys did the humor thing because it made the trips way easier. It made playing way easier. It made it way more bearable. And like you said in that bar, people sort of connected with you. So it's like same thing. Then it's like making music that can make people laugh, or at least a stage show that can make people laugh. It's way easier to connect to an audience that has never seen you or heard you before.
And you can,
especially when they're giving you the stink eye right before they've even heard what you do. It's like, okay, we got to do something, because especially at that time, because we had some covers,
some
but
shitty places, and you really had to cut the tension in the room somehow.
Because like nothing is worse. Like if I think about films or music, if like somebody comes in, you don't know who they are, and you're like, who the fuck does this guy think they are? Or who does he think he is? Or whoever it is. And then they proceed, like with music or the movie, they proceed to show you something that's like, holy fuck, is he going for the pretentious thing? It's like, oh, we get it. You're such an artist or whatever. It's like, that could totally backfire. And it's like then they're more pissed off.
Because the band before Vagabond that the two of us were in, called Obsidian, we were so pretentious and so serious, and you know, like we thought we were like
setting trends.
Like we thought we were on the cusp of being the next fucking Beatles or something, right? Like, you know, or at least that's how we sort of talked ourselves up at the time, or to ourselves.
We were misguided.
We were definitely misguided.
And it's like, it's something you wouldn't know until you get out and you experience the world and you start to learn. Like, so it makes total sense,
Well, and keeping it real is another way your audience immediately can kind of connect with you if you're not trying to be phony. And it is what it is, and you're cracking jokes and having a good time, and we're all here just to have a good time. Us on stage and you guys we're all gonna.
Well, that's one thing you guys are incredible at. As Johnny, I haven't had the privilege of seeing any of your other acts, but as Johnny don't. One of the things that's so awesome is just seeing everybody go from like, what's gonna happen, to like they're having a good time. They might, maybe not everyone's dancing, but everyone's like picking up what you're putting down, and you can feel the atmosphere, like, especially at Sastoberfest.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can feel the atmosphere go from what's gonna happen next to like everyone is now the party's to a 9 or a 10, where it was at like a 4 or a 5 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you feel the atmosphere just,
and the smiles on our faces up there, and the energy that we're getting. Hell, sometimes it's not even about the audience. We're all just having a great time, because we don't rehearse a lot. So the only time, never actually.
Lately,
we rehearse
never
when we play a show.
We
in some rehearse on stage.
in some ways that makes the shows better, because we're so excited about playing together, because it's been a couple of months or something that we just kind of forget there is an audience and just have a hell of a time.
it's like you're almost like you're just kind of jamming on stage, and there happens to be an audience.
And old songs all of a sudden become new again, because you're, well, at least for myself,
I'm around with them too.
Playing them completely different. I noticed I started, I think we all do it, is depending on the room and the audience, the songs are different every time now. And I got past thinking, well, we recorded it this way, so I have to play it this way live every time, but it doesn't work every time.
Right.
And you notice that if you alter it to suit who's there a little bit, it actually works. And sometimes you come up with better ideas than, now I want to go back and record all the old songs, re-record them again, because I don't like what I did on the album. I like what we do now. But whatever, that's just...
Yeah, a lot of it, Grandma will throw like a different kind of groove. Say if we got a heavier song, but, we're in Banff and there's kind of a bit of a...
It's more of a
older
dance,
crowd, or whatever. We can play that heavy song. We just dial it back a bit.
Just a little
throw
bit.
a little
It usually
stank
starts-
on it. Give
Yeah,
some groove.
give it some-
you know?
It usually starts with the feel that Grandma puts out, and then everybody sort of dials back what they're doing to fit in with
To
that.
lock in.
And
And
all
then
of a
it's
sudden-
fun for us because then we're like, oh yeah,
This is a different way to play this
cool.
song, and
Maybe I'm not going to use this distortion pedal on this
Yeah.
for this part or this song even at all, or just completely do something different with it.
that's so
and
interesting.
Then it turns into
Yeah.
jams sometimes where next thing you know, 20 minutes has gone by on stage and you just went off in this weird cat and mouse game with your bandmates where you're, oh fuck, he's doing that, okay, and then switching around and
Or you find some sort of groove, and then all of a sudden he's starting to throw lyrics from some song into it, and then maybe like several different songs, different bits and pieces,
we've
and we
written
can sort of
songs on stage.
That's so cool. Like
People
that-
have been like, oh, that's last song. What was that? Just made it up. Like just now.
Yeah.
You liked it. That's good.
Good. Did you tape it so we can remember?
I can't remember what it was.
Well, and that's probably why they liked it, because we were having a great time discovering something. It's like, oh shit, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a show because we're on to something, so we're not gonna really stop until we get through
So
it.
you-
Welcome to the jam.
Yeah. He makes it fun.
That's one of those things that's always fascinated me about music, and what's so different about music as opposed to film is that, especially with live performing music, there is that improvisational element to it that you kind of have to have, like you were saying, from show to show to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And with filmmaking, there's no room for that, like not in the same sense. Really,
same
it's
way.
because like when you get to your final product, that's your final product.
Yeah.
Every time someone watches it,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So you can
I suppose. Yeah.
you can like improvise while you're filming or improvise while you're in post production,
Yeah.
but once it's done, it's done. Unless you're gonna do another cut.
Yeah.
But even then, it's
I guess. Yeah.
And hearing you guys talking about how you have recorded a certain way on the album and playing it like that, and then differentiating. Like, I know when I go and see a live show of like a big mainstream band, I like when they play it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily want to hear how it was in the
Because
album.
usually
I
those are
can
the
go home and
bands
listen
that
to it.
hear
will
that in
always
your truck
play it
and
the
on the way
same
to
or
the
try
concert
to.
or
Yeah.
whatever,
It's
but-
like I can go home and listen to it 100 times and how you played it in 1993. I want to hear like now you're playing it different, and it's like
And that's a great point that I think that's missing in big time mainstream music. There's nobody really out there that takes chances like that anymore.
It's true.
You know, it's everything's really safe, and they're playing to click tracks and they're playing to backing tracks, and everything is rehearsed to death, and there's no,
The one band I can think of that's maybe the biggest band in the world that actually like it's obviously not totally improvisational, but I respect them for it is Metallica. Before a show, they don't have a set list before a show.
Yeah.
It's like they'll have an idea, but it's like, they'll create the set list 5 minutes before the show starts,
Yeah.
because they always do a warm up jam
Yeah.
for like half an
Yeah.
hour or whatever,
Yeah.
and then it's not until there that so the whole tour. Every show is gonna have a different set list, and like
Yeah.
we'll have a different order or whatever. And
there's certain
and that's
ones they have
cool.
to keep,
Yeah,
but
obviously,
they can
yeah.
alternate several.
But if
yeah.
you go to a show and you don't
And
you
change the
understand
placement
that,
of
I
those
can
right.
totally
Yeah.
relate to that, where
Absolutely.
because you're going based off of the emotion of 5 minutes before you're stepping onto that stage. How you guys feel, and this is, what's gonna take you on your own adventure as a musician with your songs. You can play what's gonna get you excited, what's
Yeah.
gonna give you the best performance. So, in that aspect, it's got to be about the musicians first,
Yeah.
in order for the audience to get
Yeah.
that good show.
Yeah.
So, And with a band like Metallica.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, it's
what's-
like it's like people are gonna love it no matter what. You go
Plus,
up there not
they
play.
also
and just
know
stand
they
there
have
and
an
pick,
audience who's ready to go the
Yeah.
minute
Yeah.
they step out there
Yeah.
too, right?
Now you can go too far, and you can be Bob Dylan, who now I've heard just goes on stage and tunes his guitar and mumbles and then leaves.
Of course.
That's the end of the
Yeah.
performance.
He
I mean, like-
created a whole career around that.
Weezer, like I went to the Weezer show that was at the SaskTel Center, and it was awesome in its own way. Like,
Yeah.
but they very much just went up, played all the hits. Everyone in the whole stadium sang along.
Gave the people what they
gave the people what they wanted, and that was a cool show for its own
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
And then to contrast that with Metallica, totally different vibe. Totally
Yeah.
different vibe. I mean, for sure, you got it. Everyone was excited when they heard the song that they really wanted
Yeah.
to hear. But I mean,
It was cool to hear some surprises.
cool to hear
too.
some
Yeah.
surprises.
Yeah.
Cool to hear some.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like I
a
just came
unique
back from
performance.
Roger Waters, and I knew exactly what I was getting into. It's the exact same show.
Still
All the-
amazing,
It was
right?
amazing. Well, you know, it's Pink Floyd, so you got all flying pigs and all this laser shit that's
Yeah.
lining up with these set lists. You got to make a set list.
But that's funny because once upon a time, Pink Floyd was leading the charge of bands that went on stage and just did whatever.
Yeah,
you know.
that's true.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I think I'll have another.
Yeah.
but
please
now
do.
that it's big business gets involved, all of a
Yeah.
sudden there's metrics and fucking graphs and
It's all about charts.
yeah,
and
yeah.
Charts and
charts.
numbers.
business shit, right?
I listened to a podcast that Billy Corgan was on.
With Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
yeah, that was a
Yeah,
really
too.
interesting
It was
podcast.
it was super interesting hearing him talk about how like
Wrestling.
that was.
yeah, and how back in the day like they used to play like a 45-minute song and how
Yeah.
now he can't like because his songs and like he didn't have ownership of it is what he was talking about,
Yeah.
and how like when he went on stage people expected something different. They didn't want to hear new stuff, or they wanted to hear the songs that they wanted to hear, and when they didn't hear that they got fucking pissed off and didn't like it.
Well,
got-
and I think part of that, what he was talking about was he was saying something about how he blamed the internet because
Yes,
in the 90s they could go out relatively unknown and do all this shit and people paid attention. But nowadays,
Yeah.
they try to stretch out at all and people are like nasty and like, fuck you, you ruined my night and fucking,
I paid money for
you
this
ripped me off and
yeah.
I felt bad for him seeing that.
I
I
feel
did,
bad
yeah.
for a lot of those artists that they got their whole life on that one song they gotta play, and we've seen it. I don't know how many times, how many. You know, Miles Godwin, just that look of resent as he's singing. You know,
Tonight is a wonderful
"Tonight is a
time.
wonderful night." That's what I was trying to remember.
That's like I watched. I don't know if it's in a documentary with the Warrant thing. Have you seen that, Andrew?
What? Sorry.
The band Warrant, Cherry
Yeah.
Pie.
We
Oh,
watched
yeah.
them from
Lane.
side stage at Minnedosa. Actually, we played
And what's
the
the
festival with them.
who's the songwriter in the band? He's the
Jenny
one-
Lane. Janie Lane.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I wrote that song on a napkin the night before the album was released. They're like, we need a single, so you got to write a single tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So he just like was pissed off and drunk in the hotel bar. So he just wrote the song Cherry Pie on a napkin and gave it to them. He's like, yeah. And then they called the album Cherry Pie, and the album art had Cherry Pie on it. Then we made a music video about Cherry Pie.
and all-
And he's
He
like, I
became
wish I
the
would have
Cherry
shot
Pie
myself
guy.
instead of writing
Yeah.
Cherry
I
Pie.
wish you never wrote that fucking
I wish I
song.
never wrote that fucking song.
Another kind of funny story like that is one of my favorite bands is the band Seether. And one of their biggest hits is a song called Broken, which he wrote with Amy Lee from Evanescence. And they were dating like back in 2004.
Oh yeah.
But then they had this super messy breakup, and then she wrote like they released an album, and then Evanescence like half the songs were about how it's like you're always drunk, fuck you, you always call me when you're drunk. It's like all of them were directed at him, and so they hate each other in the industry now. And anyways, so that song though, Broken, because it was a Seether song, it's one of their most popular songs. They're like contractually obliged basically to play it at every show.
Yeah,
but
that
this
sucks.
is what he does. Because I've seen it twice now. He goes on stage, he sings the first verse, and then he sticks the microphone out to the
Makes them
a
do
concert, and then he lets the
Yeah.
crowd sing it the whole way.
Yeah.
And he'll stand there at the side of the
Stage.
stage and then just play and be like, fuck.
it. Well, every night you got to read pages from your diary from 10 years ago. Like,
Oh.
yeah.
It's like, that chick isn't as awesome as I said she was. It's not.
Yeah. I can actually relate that to that. There's tunes that I don't feel like I want to play as much just because of the meaning behind
Yeah.
it and an era.
I was gonna say, I imagine like the meaning, like who you were when you wrote that song. You're not that same person anymore.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
going back and playing that song feels weird because you're not the same person who wrote that song, and now you have to perform
exactly.
it. And
Just
About
like
some chick who's fucking long gone.
Yeah, yeah.
5-6 years ago.
Avril's maybe not into Skater Boys anymore. I don't she very well could be.
Isn't she an imposter or something?
yeah.
Yeah, she's been dead for 10
Yeah,
years.
didn't I hear that somewhere?
there's that's a
news.
crazy conspiracy theory. There's her and like they also say Miley
And
Cyrus
Eminem.
and Eminem.
They all, like there's so many Eminem ones with like pictures of him from '90s. Pictures of him now.
Paul McCartney should copyright that before it gets out of control.
All like the facial reconstruction. So it's like this is not Eminem. Like we used FBI. Like fuck off. Like
On the same note, though, with the like shit you like aren't as in love with when you wrote it back in the day, we're in the process of writing a movie, like our first movie to film it at some point in the near future. And anyways, it's sort of the bones of it are based on a script I wrote 2 or 3 years ago now, and it's funny like how wrote that script 3 years ago and it was like, yes, this is awesome, this means a lot to me, and it's like you put a lot of little subtle references to your own life and things that are happening, and it's like I read it now and I'm like, oh my
I
god,
was such a loser.
what a little asshole, like fuck
Yeah.
you kid, whoever wrote this.
Yeah.
And it's like, so now it's like, but it's nice because it's like you learn some lessons from doing that. It's like maybe be way more subtle, like it's like you thought you were being subtle then, but it's like maybe let's pump the subtlety up a little bit more, and it's like that kind of stuff.
That's the worst part about the Facebook Memories feature, is like you see back to like, because I had it like tail end of high school. Facebook came around and was popular, and I go back and see these statuses that I made in high school. I'm just like, oh my god.
With like one like.
Yeah, with like
Yeah.
one like or no likes, and it's also
You
back.
won't forget me.
Yeah.
Also back when Facebook did that, like where we did that thing where it was like it always had is, so it's like and like Andrew Sorsdahl is studying for the whatever test.
Yeah.
And I see all these status and I'm just like delete. Like these are so fucking embarrassing. I can't believe I ever wrote this. Delete it.
It's
Thank
very.
God there was none of that shit when I was in high school.
Yeah.
That's what everyone who didn't have it
Yeah.
says now, and I totally agree.
It must be
Yeah.
fucked up.
Well, even
I
us,
can't
it's like
imagine.
because we like it was like high school for us. It would have been like grade 9, grade 10, and it's like, thank God it was like it sucks that it happened, but thank God it was that late because it's like now there are kids who are in grade 4, grade 3, and that shit's there now forever. Like there are kids who are in grade 4 now, and then when they're adults,
Those
one day they'll be
fragments
like,
are on the internet forever.
oh,
Yeah.
like so. Thank God, at least we were. in high
I
school.
kind of had a level head by the time I started
Like
writing.
back
this.
in my day, I had to bring my girlfriend to my parents' house to get embarrassed by my mother.
Yeah.
Now it's like
She could just
scroll
search
down.
your dick on the
Oh,
internet and
my
find
whole
it.
life is right there. My baby pictures are on the internet.
Yeah, Throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
Some embarrassing
Sleeping
picture.
on a toilet. 2
Well, it
years
doesn't
old.
mean you can't still put old photos onto the Facebook. It's
Yeah.
happened.
Oh, it does happen.
Oh, my
Boy.
sister's notorious for that. I don't know where she gets all these
Pictures.
pictures from,
Yeah.
family photos.
Well, that's kind of what like I'm not as much in like the Cabri group of friends. I kind of am, but their group of friends for people's birthdays, they'll try to find the most embarrassing saved
it's
Snapchat or
yeah.
picture of whoever's birthday it is, and then happy birthday, and it's like them passed out with like dicks drawn on their face, and whatever
It's
it
like
happens
every
to be.
fucking birthday. Anyway, I just took my birthday off Facebook because I couldn't handle it anymore. Like it was starting to get out of control. It's like, hey, remember when you ran through this door? Remember when you passed out in your own piss? Remember when you passed out in your own puke? Here's you on stage talking to a bunch of people who don't give a fuck. And it's like, oh, I hate this so much.
It's just like it's a day where you're just reminded of all your past embarrassments. Yeah.
Like I kind of owned up to this one, but the last couple of years, like a bunch of friends and I, like a bunch of guys, it's like, I don't know. There's like this whole thing in our community. It's like, yeah, Christmas is great, but we all like to hang out when we come home because these guys all live abroad or are busy when they're at school, or busy during the year when they're working. So when the guys get home, it's like, yeah, we're gonna do this thing we call Rhymageddon, where it's like a bunch of guys get together, drink as much rye as we can. We call it Rhymageddon.
Oh yeah.
First Rhymageddon, I got so plastered that I put this fucking pair of sunglasses on, and I remember I was like, fuck, I kind of look like Randy Savage. So I do this Randy Savage impersonation.
It's an incredible impersonation.
Listen to me, yeah.
Like do your
I am the undeniable, the unbelievable, the unnatural Randy Savage. So I throw that up online, of course, and it's blowing up because this isn't like Friday night, everyone forgets about it. This is like a Tuesday afternoon. Everybody's on Facebook at work sharing this thing, and it pops up. It pops up like 2 days ago. It's like, hey, remember this from last 2-3 years ago? I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'll own it, whatever. I'm like, yeah, I was stupid standing in my friend's bathroom doing a Randy Savage. Yeah, that stuff's not going to escape you anyway. Somebody's going to see it. I was like, yeah, I did it.
Didn't the door thing happen similar? Like, that was recently too, wasn't it? The memory of that?
Yeah, the memory. We were partying at our friend's house, and do you guys know about Ag Bag Drag? You guys been involved in that at all? The College of Ag at the U of S does their annual Ag Bag Drag. It's like their big ag event of the year.
Yeah.
And anyway, I missed Ag Bag Drag, which is like, the ag students are incredible alcoholics. Props to you guys. And so I missed the whole thing, and it was Sunday, and my friends who had come from home were up. And like, we got to head out, like, we got to work on Tuesday. And I was like, well, why don't you guys stay up for the night? And they're like, no, like, we're fucking hungover, we're tired, we just want to drive home. I crack a twisted tea, just start people taking sips. All of a sudden, we got a 40 of Arbor Mist, and we're driving to a rink to watch a rec hockey game. Long story short is we get to the end of the night, and, well, the end of the night, it was like 6 o'clock at night, and we are fucked. We get a keg from the Scuzz, and an emergency 2-4 of beer. I'm standing at this closet door, and some music's playing, and I'm pounding my fist on the door, and then my hand goes to the door. And I'm like, fuck, like, that sucks. And they're like, well, the door's fucked. You might as well wreck it. It's yours now. You got to replace it anyway.
Yeah.
So an hour later, they're playing Turn Down for What? And I run through the fucking door. And there's 9 camera angles of me running through this fucking door. And everybody and their mom, and some moms do, have this video on their phone now. So it's like, I can't try and hide from that when it pops up on
I will
social
show
media.
you guys promptly here.
It's, yeah, I remember the next day, he calls me up. He's like, yeah, I need to come to your garage. I need some space. I need to paint a door. Like, paint a door? Like, what happened? What's going on? I'll show you when I get there. So he comes, pulls a truck up to my garage. He's got a big door, this thing of paint, a roller and everything. I'm like, did you break a door in your house? No, we were at Phil's, and just watch this video. And shows me the video of him just running through this door.
I learned a valuable lesson that day. I was a university student at the time. I learned how expensive doors are. I couldn't find a cheap door. I'm like, I bust the door. I was like, fuck, that sucks. Like, that door is like $15-20. Like, I'll find another door. It's like, a can of paint can't be like $8-10. Like, no more than a case of beer. Like, $200 later, I finally got this fucking door painted. Jesus.
And was it your birthday the year?
Oh, and then the next year, my friends come for my birthday, which is in February, which is outrageous. They fucking buy a door, drive all the way up, bring this snow-covered door in my house, turn up for what on there. So, and then I ceremoniously run through this door they bought.
Oh, and that one took you a couple runs too, like that. You were hurting. Okay, here we go. You gonna play? Sir?
Your phone froze.
Of course, it would freeze now.
Yeah.
Let's do one of these while we're waiting for the
Seems like a
video.
rough-
So what we have here is, do you know Cards Against Humanity? I'm sure.
Yeah.
So these are like the black cards from Cards Against Humanity, but instead of using the like cards to fill, we're gonna just come up with our own answers to fill in the blanks. Just because I think we're all pretty creative, funny people. We'll come up with some funny stuff.
Okay.
So here we go. In a world ravaged by blank, our only solace is blank. In a world ravaged by blank, our only solace is blank.
So I'll start. In a world ravaged by social media, our only solace is a repost.
Okay, that's
I could be funnier with it, but
In
it
a
makes
world ravaged by smegma, our only solace is circumcision.
whew,
sense. Cheers to that.
that's an image and a half.
Every time we have to bring up circumcision,
Fucking guys, it's always Fran too.
he always does. He likes to bring it up.
Let's hear another one.
In a world ravaged by chlamydia, our only solace is
Tetracycline.
recycling.
Oh God.
There we go.
Kind of puts his hand in his Tetris.
Yeah, draw that in the bus.
It's like TerraCycling? No, it's Tetris.
You gotta have another good one on there.
Yeah, oh yeah. Instead of coal, Santa now gives the bad children blank. Very appropriate. Instead of coal, Santa now gives the bad children.
I'm gonna say AIDS.
AIDS?
AIDS.
That's very treatable now.
Just think it's
That'd be good. That's a good.
Syphilis, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Before we continue, here's a video.
Roman
Sorry for the quality.
No.
And the worst for me is like how he hangs on that, because that's gotta hurt like hell. It just lays there for a while. So that's the infamous video that now
I
we'll
was
haunt
wearing,
him for
I
the
bought
rest
it.
of
I
his
bought
life.
a sweater at Value Village. It was a children's sweater that I tore the sleeves of, and it said, "I have cavities because I'm too sweet." And then everybody kept saying, "Brad must have cavities because the pussy's too sweet." So
That's one of Brad's favorite things to do, is donning clothing that's just far too tight. Like one year at his birthday, we were at Louis', and this is like right where we'd all
you
just
don't need to look it up on social media, folks. We're going to talk about it here.
we all just turned. We all like just recently turned 19, so we
My
just
birthday's
started
on
to drink.
Valentine's Day, which is relevant to the story.
Yeah, so it is because they were like these like cute girls giving out condoms and lube at Louis' because Valentine's Day is promoting safe sex.
Yeah.
So Brad, and they have Durex tank tops
For girls.
for girls. So Brad takes an extra small women's tank top, rips his shirt off in the middle of the bar, puts this extra small tank top on, and then somehow everyone started covering him in the lube
They had
packets.
lube packets.
Oh,
like
yeah.
flavored lube
yeah.
packets.
So they're
Head to toe, I was just covered in lube packets. I'm wearing this Durex T-shirt.
Then we get a
God.
little bit out of hand because it was dollar draft. We're playing quarters, and then these like they don't actually hire real security. It's just like volunteer people.
Yeah.
And they come up to Brad and I, and they're like, "We're gonna have to ask you to leave." And Brad's like, "You're starting a fight that you can't win. Like, don't try to kick us out. Like, you'll never kick us out of this bar. Like, good fucking luck."
And they're like, they're university kids, and they're just like, okay.
Okay, like yeah, like
You call her bluff, man.
It's like I get $10.50 an hour. You do whatever you fucking want.
they're like just try not to be too crazy. Yeah.
Oh man, and like
I remember you walking back, and you're like, "I don't need a fucking jacket." You walk back in the cold, all this
the
lube,
lube.
and then he gets back to his house. He's obviously a very hairy gentleman. His hair is all like crusted in this fucking like frozen lube. Just it's not that you broke the toilet in your
no,
house.
that was Irish Ride. I broke the toilet, but yeah, like I walked home and the lube froze up, and like I
Yeah.
slept in the lube, and my sheets smelled like strawberry banana.
Oh,
Oh, what a night!
nasty.
Yeah, I threw the sheets out. Like, pretty sure they stained the mattress right through with the greasy patch.
Instead of coal, Santa now gives bad children a visit to Kevin Spacey.
Oh,
Give us the laugh.
what a gift!
A night with Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Too soon.
I don't. We've already been talking about it this whole time. The Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein, Louis C.K. Louis C.K. was just too. That's just too bad. I really like his comedy. He's so funny. But as Francois said, I think all his jokes about jerking off now have a bit of a darker undertone to them.
I usually ask people who come on and musicians who come onto the podcast, what is the biggest crowd you've ever played to, whether it was your own show or you opened for somebody or you were playing in a different band, regardless, it doesn't need to be Johnny Don't.
Well, how many people were at that Minnedosa? Cheap Trick played, and we played after Cheap Trick.
Holy shit.
You played after Chief Trick?
Yeah.
Chief Trick open for you.
Well,
No.
they played the main stage.
They played the main
the other
stage down the
That's
hill.
still amazing.
Here's how it worked out. We fucking, this is years ago, we win this band wars thing and Riley's. Fucking go down to Minnedosa, end up winning that thing. Open for warrant or something on the main stage.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Poison, but
It's supposed to be
They
Poison,
didn't
but
show
dude
up.
got in a go-kart
Bass player
accident, broke
got
his
hurt,
back or
yeah.
whatever. So it was warrant. Singing Heaven Ain't Too Far Away.
And cherry
Smoked
pie.
the most cigarettes I ever
Yeah,
seen.
that dude
On a
smoked
side
a
note,
lot for a
that
singer
dude-
on stage.
They're out there just.
we stood next to his guitar tech, watched the whole show from his guitar, and his guitar tech would just light smokes and fucking bring him out to him.
yeah. Or he'd come
always have
back
a
and
smoke.
have a couple puffs, go back out there and sing. And he
Really?
sang really well, too.
Yeah.
Like no balls of water, but
Like the
Also,
guitar
just
tech is lighting cigarettes.
Lighting
and giving-
cigarettes.
He'd bring him right up to him
and stick him in
on
his
stage,
mouth.
like-
He was
while
a
he's
sing
fucking
tech
singing.
down.
It was crazy.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're in this thing or whatever. So the next year, I'm like, fuck, that Minnedosa was a good time. I should phone the promoter, see if we can get some kind of show or whatever.
Yeah.
So I phone up the promoter, and I got him on the phone, and he's like, yeah, how about you guys play Saturday night? We'll have Billy Idol play, then you guys play, and then Cheap Trick will play, and then you guys finish off the night. Does that work? Yeah. Guitars.
Yeah, we'll make that
Sounds
work.
good. Let's see that. Oh, fuck, what just happened? Yeah. So, yeah, we went down there and fucking did that.
Didn't believe it till we got there, but
Yeah.
it turns out that was the deal.
That was the deal.
Like you're like they totally fucked up. Like they're
Yeah.
talking
So we
about
brought-
totally different
He's
bands.
on crack,
Whole
big time or
crew,
something. Doesn't know what he's saying.
Lights, fucking all everything we owned. We dragged down and slapped on that stage and threw a hell of a show. And we started off with one of our songs. And, of course, the crowd
we did, 'cause
doesn't
we were
know who the
pretentious.
fuck- 'cause we were pretentious. And
You were the
crowd-
best band there.
The crowd didn't know who the fuck we were, whatever.
This is
And
Johnny
they just
Don't.
finished.
No,
No,
this
this
was
would have been Obsidian.
Obsidian,
This
okay.
was in, what, 2002?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Okay, yeah.
This is
So yeah, the
Going way
fucking
back.
10,000 people roll up the fucking hill. We fucking fire up, and probably 6 to 8,000. I don't know. I couldn't even see.
all we could see
As
was
far
people,
as I could
and
see.
it was, it was turning dark.
Yeah.
You know,
So we finish our original song, and of course the audience doesn't know when it's ending because they never fucking heard this song in their lives. And I'm like, it's quiet.
yeah, it
It
was just
seemed like it was quiet for a
dead
real long
quiet,
time,
and
I'm like,
we're just like,
we're
oh
fucked.
shit.
We're fucked. And all of a sudden, and I'm sure that quiet moment was all of like a half a
3,
second.
yeah.
It seemed like
And all of a
20
sudden,
minutes though. Yes.
and we're like, holy fuck,
Okay, here we
yeah,
go.
whoa, let's go, boys. Next song. Fucking-
Off we
yeah.
went.
How crazy is that playing that many people?
It was a good time.
Like it's
It
like
was
you
a
probably
blur.
don't even
It was a
realize.
It was a blur. It went by so fucking fast. Like the only reason I even remember anything is because we got some of it on film.
yeah.
But if it wasn't for that, I honestly don't know how much I would
How much
even
you'd actually
remember. It just
recall,
went
yeah.
by so fast, and all I could really see was just people. You know, I didn't. It was the first time I didn't actually.
And didn't
know
we
somebody.
play with Vinnie Paul that weekend? Or the
No,
week
that was the
prior?
first time we went
Oh,
to
that's-
Minnedosa. It was the night before.
Yeah, because the Pantera,
The night before we were
Dimebag,
doing
and Vinnie
that,
Paul showed up to the Rileys, and
and he just barged his way onto the
Yeah.
stage and kicked our drummer off the drum
he
stool
was like,
and
"Can I jam
sat
with you guys?"
down, and he was
Hell
like,
yeah, man.
started calling out the songs to me, and I'm like, okay, sure. I start playing fucking Walk This Way or whatever the hell. He's Back in Black. Look over, and
Thin
the rest of the
Lizzy.
band didn't know the fucking songs. Well, yeah, first we were like, okay, we were going to play a Thin Lizzy song that we did at the time called Bad Reputation. And he was like, no, Jailbreak. Okay. So we fucked up the beginning because we played it like the record is, and he just skipped the first chord and went straight into the riff. So we were like, oh, fuck. So then after that, then he just started calling out the tunes, and it was like, okay. And yeah, the other guys didn't really know the
Didn't know the
songs. We knew the first couple riffs, and we somehow faked our way through, and we were hammered, and he was fucking wasted. And and like I saw the video of that too, horribly out of tune. It was fucking awful, but everybody in the bar was just fucking headbanging, right?
Yeah, Dimebag at the front, fucking
Like they thought it was the greatest fucking thing they ever saw, but they were seriously mistaken.
Yeah.
But it was, a rock star was hopped up with a local band, and they just most of the people there came from the Pantera show.
Right.
So, because it was the after party. So yeah.
That is unreal.
That's so
And then
cool.
it was the next day after that we went to Minnedosa the first time. So we basically thought, okay, well, by Monday we're gonna be rock stars. We're gonna be
Yeah,
basically.
we made it.
We
We
made
made
Benny
it.
Paul. We met Dimebag. We're going to Minnedosa. Fucking, we're gonna win that thing, and we're gonna open for Poison. And
did.
That's it.
managers are gonna come, and we'll be fucking rock stars by Monday. I'll be quitting my job when I get home. Didn't work out quite like that, but
It's funny though because like that's as amazing as that was playing in front of all those people. It was such a. It's one of those few stories that I'll ever tell if I'm telling a story on the road.
it still wasn't
It
close
pales
to the
in
best show
comparison
that I've
to
ever
all
done.
the shit that we went and done because that was fucking
15 years ago.
15 fucking years
Yeah.
ago, and we've been in the career in this business ever since then and done all kinds of crazy stuff. So, yeah, it was wild, but
That's a crazy way to have an early part of your career.
yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
like
Oh, this poor kid we had for a drummer. Fuck, he had just joined the band. And
Just
within a
turned
fucking
19 or so.
2 or 3 months or something of him being in this band. He's got rock stars kicking him off his drum set. He's like getting dragged all over the fucking place playing these huge shows, and
So he didn't know what the hell to think.
his mom made him quit.
Well, you guys just,
His mom.
you guys just sort of answered like a hypothetical I thought about before was like if you go to like a music festival or whatever, not all the time, but I would say a lot of the ones I've been to anyways, there's always like 3 or 4 bands that you really want to see, and then there's a lot of stuff in there that maybe you've heard of or like sometimes you haven't heard of at all. And I got to assume that I'm not the only one. Like everybody's got to be there for the 4 bands that they came to see, and then there's a bunch of bands there that they don't really give a shit about.
Yeah.
So I always wonder, like, how easy would it be to just take a band nobody's heard of, shove them into like, not headlining, but like maybe opening or like opening for the opener
In front of a
and in front
large
of everybody,
audience.
and then everybody's just assuming it's like, oh well, they got to be big, right? Because they're here.
Yeah.
It's like, how would everybody in the crowd then just assume that's like, oh yeah, well somebody's got to know who they are, right?
And it's funny you said that because we're
Yeah.
walking around with band passes like
Uh-huh.
every other rock star around there, except we're fucking nobodies. But people were always assuming, oh
Yeah.
fuck, you must be some kind
Yeah,
of
they
fucking
must
big
be from
deal.
somewhere.
We drank for free. We ate for free. We'd show up
Yeah,
at
it
a
was
kiosk,
like full on VIP.
like just the not even in the backstage stuff, the VIP
Yeah.
stuff, like. A Chinese woman who was giving us fucking
the Filipino ladies that were making these wicked
giving
beef
us food
kebabs.
because we had
And
the band passes.
Our rhythm guitar player at the time he'd just walk up and she would give him food and he'd go grab a bottle of water and she wouldn't even ask him for money. It was like, he's like, I keep going there and I keep grabbing kebabs and water and they don't charge me any money. Like, do they think I'm famous? Like, what's
That's
going
so-
on?
Yeah, that's what they say. It's like
just
it's
'cause
like
you wearing that band pass.
it's like once you have the money to pay for stuff, people
Everything's
stop
free.
asking you to pay for stuff, and it's like good.
Well,
the world
I
works
think
this
that's
way.
why he put us in that slot because he was like, these guys will work for way cheaper, but they look at the time we looked like that kind
Legit.
of band, and we sounded like that kind of band, and you
Yeah.
figured by that time nobody's gonna care whether they know them or not.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
Well, that's
it's gonna go over,
an
right?
interesting point too, because like there's a lot of incredibly talented musicians who, like, if you hear them live and the sound is good, the distinction between them and a huge band might not be as much as like with a recording. It's a lot about the production and whatever.
Yeah.
But with a live show, if you've got a good sound guy, the disparity between musicians, if they're all at a certain level, is a lot less, I would imagine, anyways.
And I like to go back to the music festival things. I've been to so many music festivals where I'd never heard the band, never heard any music, but I loved their show.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, oh, this is awesome. Like I still had a good time even though
Well,
I didn't know any of the lyrics.
It always goes
So,
back to that.
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's more about that live show, I think, than the actual. Well,
Well, and
you're
a
trying
lot
to
of-
sell albums or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of bands break is through the festival.
Yeah,
circuit.
that was the
You
old
know?
way of doing it. Back
Especially
then, that's
in the
how we were
rock
doing
and
it.
hard
we were
rock
just
and metal.
town to
you
town
know?
to town. Make sure.
And especially now with like it's hard to get physical album sales. I imagine
Yeah.
now, like
Yeah.
the big band, like where they make their money is ticket sales. I mean, ticket sales and merch. I mean, that's where your bread is buttered. I think.
It's interesting talking about openers. We got the very fortunate opportunity to see Motley Crue in Saskatoon last time we were there. And I don't know if you guys were at the show or not, but
When Alice Cooper opened?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, was it?
Were you there for the very opening for the real Scotty McGrath?
Oh my God!
Okay, so
What, there was another opener?
No, it was
before
like-
Alice?
it was
so
like
there
the-
was another
Well, yeah,
opener.
technically.
So
yes.
this guy gets up on stage. He's like, "Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Like, are you excited for Motley Crue?" We're like, "Yes." Like, I thought Alice Cooper was opening, but if Motley Crue's coming out, that's fine.
Yeah.
He's like, "All right, sounds good. Well, I'm the real Scotty McGrath, and I'm here to rock you guys." And we're like, "Okay." And he literally, this is incredible to me because I know how audio works, and like he just takes a headphone jack and plugs it into his his MacBook Pro and just hits, like you can hear him tap the Mac space bar and
And
just
the
starts
volume
playing
button.
a song. And you can hear him go boop, boop, boop to turn the volume up on
Yeah.
this MacBook. He's just playing like whatever, like AC/DC, whatever. And he's
Okay.
like, he's this hype guy essentially. And he's like,
yeah.
he's like, you
he's
guys,
the
like,
hype towel.
he's like, follow me on Twitter. I'm like, well, if this guy is a legitimate guy and he's opening for Motley Crue and Alice Cooper, and this isn't like, he immediately makes it clear he's not from Saskatoon. Like, he's been following these guys.
Yeah,
and being
he's
their
been
hype man
with
for a
them
while.
on tour.
I'm like, well, he's with Motley Crue. Like, this guy must have
Yeah.
some sort of something that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And the same pops is like, follow me on Twitter. We go on Twitter, 12 followers. He had 12 followers on Twitter.
And somehow he's touring with Motley Crue and Alice Cooper.
I'm like, how big is Alice Cooper's dick when it's in your mouth? Because he must have blown to somebody. Because he opened for Alice Cooper. And, like, he opened in, like, Boston, New York,
Oh, yeah.
LA, Saskatoon, Montreal. Like,
They took him
And
on
all
the
I
whole
could get
run.
was 12 followers.
and all 12 people.
Must
And he
be.
had a fucking MacBook.
and like, yeah, we say open. He pressed the space bar on a MacBook
And that- the
played
incredible-
from like iTunes. He played.
And then he was just there, like fist pumping, like head banging.
I
Like,
know,
"Oh,
One
get ready
stage-
for Motley
one
Crue.
stage,
And
he
then,
took
like,
his laptop and he ran into the crowd as if like people do with instruments. But he had his laptop running in the crowd with the spotlight on him. He's like,
And then the
"Yeah,
spotlight
That's
lost him.
hilarious.
yeah, right.
And the
spotlight
thing-
lost
and the
him."
thing I can understand is,
That's
I don't
fucking
get the DJ
hilarious.
thing personally. I'm not into DJs.
Well, it depends
like,
on like what kind of like because DJ
Was
is
it one
such
of
a
his
loaded
fucking?
term.
I feel like it's maybe one of the road crew
Oh, for
fucking
sure.
around,
Yeah.
being funny.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
I think
yeah,
this-
sure.
it
But-
tot-
I thought so too, but he was on for like 40 minutes. Like, he was on for so long.
if he's trying to be
Wow.
funny, he is a fucking genius and deserves way more
Wow.
than he
Well,
got, because
that's
That's
probably
gotta
what
be.
they're going for.
it would have to be, because like
some inside humor going
Yeah.
on.
The other
thing is, like,
everybody
yeah.
backstage
Because
is busting the
they're
fucking
gonna
nut.
play.
Yeah.
they're
They're
that would
gonna
make
play
sense.
a soundtrack of all the tunes they like to hear before they get to pump up the audience and them for the
Yeah.
shows.
Well, that's-
Why not have a hype
bring
guy
a
go
hype
out?
towel.
Yeah.
and
We brought
fucking-
one with
yeah,
us,
yeah,
Jake,
we've
the
done that.
Australian. We
On a
dragged
small
our
scale.
I
guy.
hope that was it.
That's-
I really
I'm
sure
sure
Now that you
that's
say
why
that,
was
that
it.
makes
I
so
can't-
much
Because it was
sense.
it was
Yeah.
so weird. It was very odd being there watching.
And, like,
this
you
guy.
think, like, even the worst DJ fades out one song
Oh yeah, yeah.
and fades up the next song, but it, like, song stopped, you could hear him reach his mouth over, double
I
click,
bet you
and then it would play.
all the crew and the bands backstage were killing
Yeah, that's probably a
themselves
big
laughing.
inside joke
Yeah.
for those
Yeah,
guys.
huge fucking.
It's probably
That's
something he
That
does
makes so-
when the crew's all partying and getting drunk.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, we're putting that on the fucking stage.
Okay, tomorrow night.
Yeah.
This would,
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That makes so
Yeah,
much
and
more
And they're
sense.
probably laughing at the fact that there's a lot of people in the audience going,
What the fuck?
is this?
And, like, these
They
huge,
probably think it's
like, on the
hilarious.
screens,
Yeah.
these huge banners,
Oh,
the
yeah.
real Scotty
McGrath.
McGrath. Follow him on Twitter.
Yeah,
It's like who's
that
who's
sounds
impersonating
like-
this
that's
guy? Like,
definitely-
why is he
yeah,
why is he the real
that's-
Scotty McGrath?
That's for
Yeah,
sure.
who's trying to be the not real Scotty McGrath?
That's
You're not
funny.
Rick Ross.
The
Like,
fake one. Yeah.
that's too funny.
One thing we like to do on the podcast, just a total different direction here. We do Would You Rathers, and one of the toughest to answer Would You Rather questions. We've asked many of our guests. So
Are we gonna graduate from this point one day?
No, I don't
no,
think so. This is kind of
this is-
tradition.
yeah. So would you rather receive a good blowjob from your grandmother or a bad blowjob from your grandmother?
Like our drummer?
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, from Graham. Would you rather get a good or bad blowjob from Graham, and why? I personally answered the question 13 or 15 times, different ways, as I keep putting my head around.
I always
that
answer the
big
same way.
beard, so I don't know.
Like, he's blowing you either way. You have no choice.
Yeah.
Is it good or is it bad?
Good. Well, if you're gonna get blown either way, you want a good blow.
See, that's what I say too.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
I mean,
too.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
the only thing that's a little bit different with it
It's
being,
taking the bandmate thing way too
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, it's I guess bandmate's still an intimate relationship, but like,
Obviously.
one thing how I answer the question is like, if I'm getting a blowjob for my I don't want it to be a bad, because I don't want to associate like future blowjobs
Oh,
with
good
this
one. Yeah,
with this
good
experience.
point.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. If Grandma's giving you a good Hummer, then every time you get a good Hummer, you're thinking about Grandma.
well,
No.
but listen, man,
No, that's not true.
No,
you just gotta realize.
If anything, I'd be like, yeah, that's
You're almost as
this
good.
guy. I vouch for him because he gives good blowjobs. You know?
Well, and really, like there should be a world of no bad blowjobs, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
you're
We're
gonna
creating a better
do a good
society.
fucking job. You
Yeah.
know, like come on.
It's not
It's
rocket
called a
science,
blowjob.
honestly, It is not.
It
like
is.
rocket
It's a
science.
job, so you should
I was
put
just thinking
you
about-
know the old college try.
My mother always says, if you're going to do something, do it right.
That's right.
And now I'm thinking about my mother blowing my dad. I don't want to do that.
oh Jesus Christ!
See,
just
we
like-
eluded the whole grandmother thing and brought it to a safer zone. Our hairiest member of the band.
And I had to bring it back to a very hurtful,
yeah.
personal place. But that's how the podcast works.
Yeah, well.
I know.
It's
now
an
that
interesting
I will no
thing to
longer be
think
showing
about.
this to my mother. Hey, Mom, check out this.
But really, yeah.
podcast.
Bottom line, no bad blowjobs, and you know, if you stick to that rule, it's
That's a fair point,
But-
especially.
If there's no bad blowjobs, how do you really appreciate a good blowjob?
that's very
Ah,
true.
there we go.
That's
You gotta have the
classic
antithesis.
philosophy.
Good versus evil. Now we're
Yeah.
getting deep
It's this
here.
whole
You got it.
existential.
Now, is it and also is a bad blowjob more so probably about inexperience, or is it? You know what I mean? Like I
Well,
feel
No,
like
because it's like
everyone's had that in their younger days, that experience of like you were also with someone who was inexperienced, didn't really know what they were doing.
well, that's the thing. Is
I
like,
don't know. We've
can
all
you,
slayed a dragon or two that gives a good blowjob, right?
Can you say that, like, let's say a guy just started welding and he doesn't do the best job? Is he a bad welder or is he just new? It's like same with somebody who's fresh. to
That's
giving
my point.
blowjobs. Is that a bad blowjob?
It's just like, does a bad welder
So is
almost
it-
pull your dick off? Because that's happened.
Because that's the thing, though. It's like that. Then you go. It's like that.
A snaggletooth mouth man.
Can you even really judge a new blowjobber?
Well, you got to judge by the job.
It's true.
It's job per job.
Yeah,
right? And they're
they
going
might-
to get better every time. I
exactly,
will hope,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then when
Which
they start
brings you to the
slacking off-
question. It was like, are you gonna get a disease because she's really good at this?
There you go.
She's
And
been
it
around,
throws
yeah,
in
yeah,
more.
yeah.
That's another good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
red flags.
Never
could
been
be.
in a relationship, but you get a killer blowjob.
That's the thing. Then
How
you're
did that
wondering-
happen? Yeah,
Freaking me
you
out.
practice at home.
If Graham
Freaking
gives
me
you
out.
good blowjobs, then you're wondering, like, how much you been doing this when we've been on tour? Like, what are you up to?
Yeah.
Where
you
did
go to
this
bed?
come from? Are you just a
Yeah,
natural?
then you go back to the, hey guys, this girl keeps giving me free kebabs and water. It's like I don't have to pay for them. It's like you're paying for them.
Yeah, down the line, you're paid.
Not the money. But
Yeah.
Service
Ain't
is in
nothing for
exchange
free
for
in
goods.
this world, right?
Services rendered, yeah.
Yeah, that's a question that
You
can be
guys-
pondered for.
You guys turned that one like that's usually such a like, oh, I don't know, and you guys were quick on the draw for sure. Like no bad like, and it's
Sorry,
totally
Grandma.
legit. It's totally legit answer.
no, and you guys are a good audience. I hate it because like I said, this question comes up sometimes, and you guys are a good audience for this question. Sometimes I don't do it, but sometimes these two will bring it up to two people who it's like,
Well, that's
in the world made you think that these people? Because it's like you can immediately tell that they're just like they're like having a good time on the podcast, and then it's
Suddenly
the question gets in, and then
very
it's like,
uncomfortable.
and all of a sudden it's like silent for
Freaking
5
me out.
minutes,
I'll gotta go, man.
and then it's but it's this weird thing. It's like they're silent for 5 seconds, and then they're like, I guess we put. Yeah, and then it's like the end of it, it's like you can just tell it's like, oh
Hey, we've
god,
learned to
it
be
just it's like it was so
comfortable in the
good and we
weirdest
just made it weird.
situations over the years, man.
I was gonna say they've had some experience in some pretty odd circumstances. Yeah, seen some shit on the road, I
Seen
imagine.
some weird things, yeah.
Actually, we're at time.
We watched, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it's like no, finish your
I was
story.
gonna
It's
say the
like
last
round.
weird thing we saw while we were touring, we were playing in Banff, and Well, we were setting up and we were having a hard time on stage. And we were having electrical problems. So we got it sorted out, played the show. We're playing the show and all of a sudden you can smell something. We're all like
Something's burning.
looking around, checking the gear, make sure nothing's on fire. I look up and there's a dude with his hair on fire.
Oh my god.
And
And he's chugging
another
a beer.
dude headbutting, and all of a sudden there's two dudes with hair on their fire.
He
And
lit
they're both
his hair
standing
with the
there
other guy's burning hair.
having a fucking time.
Chug off.
Or seeing who could last the longest.
Yeah.
With their hair on. A couple of crazy Australians.
That's a crazy.
Bands full of Australians. So yeah, that was the most fucked up.
Because they say I've
Just
That's
when you
insane.
thought you've seen it all,
Then some
two fucking
guys
crazy
light the
Australian
fucking hands
guys.
on fire.
Light their hair on
I've-
fire.
I've read things about about fire safety, and they say if your hair lights on fire, that's like the worst thing that can, because it's the hardest thing to put out, and your scalp will fucking
Oh,
burn.
Oh, yeah.
Like
this
it
is
will,
a packed bar.
like the
to
oil
the
ends
tits.
in your hair.
And everybody was just pouring pints. They all got soaked.
Yeah,
But they was, it
Fire
was
got
like
put
they
out
were
quick.
playing chicken or
They
something.
were
to
playing
see-
chicken to see who
who's
could
gonna
last the
give up
longest with
first.
their hair on
Like
fire.
I've heard of cigarette burns, but
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, they poured
Yeah.
151
Hurts.
on their head. and lit it up.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that's good.
That's
it was something.
wacky.
You never forget that.
And fuck did it stink.
Yeah,
Burnt hair
yeah.
always
2
smells
heads
bad.
worth of burnt hair in the bar.
Oh,
It
no,
was
fucking
nasty.
bar is like 100 years old. Really, Jesus Christ, don't mess with fire. In
Yeah,
there.
no shit. Because
Yeah,
I was
like
like,
that.
where's the exits?
Yeah.
We might have to, okay.
Jump out the window.
Taking
here
my
off the
guitar.
stage.
What was the cause of the fire? Two guys.
Two
with their
Australians.
hair
Crazy
on fire.
There were Australians involved.
They're Australians involved.
That's all we need to know.
What was the
Yeah.
cause of the fire?
It's funny
Australia.
because the fire department is literally
Across the alley.
out the back.
Yeah, right out the
door.
back door is the
Fucking
fire
Christ.
department. They could just run a hose
Yeah,
up the back
run
steps.
up the back steps.
Hose
Same
it down.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Bar
guess we
wasn't
were
in
in a
any
safe
danger.
place for fire. That's funny.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
Thank you so
having
much for
us.
joining us.
Thanks for this love. I didn't blow chunks.
Chunks is the best dog he ever
Not
had.
yet, anyway.
Well, everyone, join us for episode 7.
Yeah, this is episode 6, I think.
Yeah.
Episode 6.
We'll
And
go with
thank
it.
you to Johnny Doe. Check them out online. Check them out on social media.
Actually, yeah,
Facebook.
before we leave, you guys have anything to plug? You said there's a show coming.
Yeah, check us out
plug a couple
on
things.
RedTube.
YouTube. YouTube. Yeah. Facebook.
Sorry.
JohnnyDoe.ca
Yeah, JohnnyDon'tCA.
and Bud's New Year's Eve.
Bud's New Year's Eve.
on
We
down.
got
Big party.
new singles coming out, new videos coming out. We're gonna shoot a video with you guys
Yeah.
here next
No, we're
spring.
very
I believe.
excited.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
For
Oh
that.
yeah, we've been wanting to shoot a video with you guys since
Since
when's the
Dog
fir-
Patch.
Yeah, since
Nice
Dog
job
Patch
on that
we-
country video I saw just the other day.
The
Oh,
newest
thanks.
one.
Yeah, we
Thank
were.
you so much.
Fucking great job.
Thanks, man.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
that yet. I'll check
It's
that
pretty
out.
cool.
Check it out.
We're doing side country music, so
Really?
we might have to do that. Yeah, we're in a
Very cool.
country
Similar
project
vibe,
coming
maybe.
up.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so
Awesome.
much for
Peace, guys.
watching.
Okay,
We'll catch you later.
Keep fit and have fun.